Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Uh, I'd be back. Alright, here we go. We got to get right over to this instrument right now because it's already fading. We had a M-class flare here. And as you can see up here on the GOES X-ray flux, here's our M-class flare. It was up to M4.1. So it's starting to come back down a little bit. So it was, I think, an M4.1, and there was if you saw the thumbnail, there was a little red spot right here and there just a little while ago, just a few minutes ago. It's already kind of waning. All right, as you can see up there on the GOES X-ray flux, it reached its peak and it's starting to come back down. But what's important is it's earth directed, because the flare that we'll look at here on this one in just a minute here, the flare is the first impact right here. So that tells me, even though it's off to the side over here of the sun, that a component of it will still graze us, just like last time, okay? So this is just now happening. I was starting to set up for the show, and I clicked over to this, and I saw the red spot on there. I was like, oh, geez, I better get a picture of this real quick. And I decided to just go live early. But we kind of missed the red spot. It was captured in my thumbnail there. It's still a little orange in there. We go back. Whoops, too much. You can see there's still a little hint of orange in there, all right? So it's still kind of impacting. It's not as severe. It was almost an R2 radio blackout. It was definitely R1, if almost to R2 region up here. When we look at this a little bit bigger here in a minute, okay? But the main thing is we have just taken on another small impact, okay? It's M4. It's not too big, but it did impact us. The flare did, and that means a component of the CME will be arriving 3 days from now, with, you know, hitting us with a little bit of inbound energy. If let's back out of this and zoom in on this one here. Whoops, wrong button. Back. I want to zoom in on this one right here. Please. Is there a reason why we're not zooming in? How about we reopen the site? Alright, there we go. Now it's coming down. Let's zoom in on this. Okay. Pull it up. Latest M flare right there. M-class flare hit us, and it's already starting to come back down out of M-class now to C9.5 now, okay? So you saw just a minute ago it was M2.1 when it was up there, now to decline. All right, and if we look down here, see this little, there's no more orange or yellow in it. Whoops. It's just green now. All right, so we took a small little bump on the chin right there. All right, a new little M flare. And something else to kind of think about right here, the last barrage we had with M-class flares and the X flare kind of started off similar to this. It got really quiet like this, and then boom, a big M flare. So we'll watch for more activity here coming in the next day here. All right, so that's the latest current news going on right now. Is we just had an earth-facing M flare. It was a 4.1 is the highest I saw when this thing was, and it was still climbing. It was like M1, M2, M2.5, M3, and I'm like, oh, this thing's climbing. Is it gonna reach an X-class flare? And then right as I went to go take the thumbnail for this, it started to decline from 4.1 down. So I took the image as quick as I could. I'm sure they'll capture it and post it on tomorrow's site or whatever. But as you can see, we currently experiencing an M flare just coming out of M class region right now into C 9.5. So let's go back and start off our solar report normally like we do here. And let me get everything positioned just right for you guys so you can see. It's pretty quiet on the sun today. Here's our date, 12/20. Whoops, that is actually tomorrow. That was a sneak peek at what just happened, but it's not on there yet. Here we go. Here's 12/20/23 today. And we'll let that loop load up and play. You can see there was a few spits and sputters. This object right there. There goes another one. All right, so that was today the 20th. All right, this isn't our M-class flare that took place on the 21st of UTC time. All right, so you can see this little blast coming out here, and then something kind of going in. You see that right there? So another thing to note here, these spires that are continuing to kind of grow in intensity here. All right, so we got some more activity coming. Now, note the spire on this side, all right? The event happened over on this side, so it's not like it just took one of these out. Like I said before, it doesn't necessarily come out of these ones first. Sometimes it comes off to the side or whatever. So here's our little sneaking in the side door over here. And then we had today's event. We really don't need to zoom in and look at this object. It's really the best capture, but you can see by the flow that we've had several little objects there, but that one caused a little CME there. So did that little one too. All right, now back to the solar report. So here we are, goes X-ray flux, boom, 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 boom. Here was today, right here that we just looked at, all right? Going into tomorrow, it was really quiet, leaving off the end of today. Was really quiet. We were down almost at the sea floor, and then just bam, out of nowhere, this huge, not huge, but a decent M4.1 that's Earth directed, partially Earth directed. Okay, so where were we here? I wanted this. Where? Yeah. So we're gonna pull up the 131. You guys are all used to seeing this on everybody else's site. So here we go with our flare right here at this quadrant, just about to go around the east or the western limb, and so it's kind of out of range, but it still was enough to come straight like at the camera this way, straight at you this way. Most of it's going to go out of the screen to the to the right there, but of it hit the earth, and you can tell by the by that graph right there where it hit. Here, that's where it shifted back, maybe a little bit, but this was where the red spot was right here. Okay, so out in the Indian Ocean didn't really affect too many people as far as radio blackout and communications and stuff, but the main impact is going to affect us here in a few days. All right, now it wasn't much that we took on, but we are so close to the edge that any added energy does not help, and this is added energy. All right, and it shouldn't be a brutal change in magnitude on earthquakes, but it's a backup of energy. Remember, we're over here last night at the let me slide this over at the KP index here. All right, and we had those two bigger spikes. We had our long duration event, and then the two big spikes. Now a small one right here. This is only KP4. but it is a little bit more energy. Another little slight wave came in, dissipated, and now pretty soon you're going to see go up to, maybe KP 4 or 5 right here pretty soon. Once this gets plotted, this latest event gets plotted on here, all right? So that's going to be back to back to back absorption events, but not really powerful ones, okay? Which just means we keep topping off the tank. As soon as pressure is relieved, then something else hits us and pushes more pressure up, all right? Here's our auroras for the moment. Let me just zoom out. You guys take a peek at our auroras, all right? And it'll probably glow a little bit harder here, or maybe it's already over for the auroras right now, but you can see that we still have, mild absorption, nothing too bad. Okay, now the tracker, I think, was showing old stuff from, yeah, they're showing this old CME going that way. This new one is just happening, so it's still fluid, it's still fresh, so there's not enough data on it yet. But then I want to come over here to the Schumann here, and we'll scooch in, pull this up, do all kinds of great little tricks. Howdy everybody there in the chat. Sorry, I neglected to say hi to everybody there. I was trying to hop on this as quickly as possible before the data changes. I wanted to catch that with the red dot still in there, so you could see it was a short duration and not a very brutal impact, but still some kind of impact. All right, anyways, back to our Schumann here. Now, as you can see, where we left the event right here has finally kind of died off, all right? Now we're getting a nice strong 7.83 hertz. See how nice and vibrant green it is, and wide and thick and healthy? Quick little hiccup right there. It recovers pretty well, but now we're starting to scrape again a little bit here, all right? So just as the pressure started to relieve and we stopped scraping and the volcanoes kind of calmed down, not calmed down, but yes, they reduced their activity. They climaxed. We had Iceland tear open, and then it relieved a lot of pressure, and the activity kind of, down, and now the grinding kind of stopped, all right? Here you can see we've been weakness right here, but nothing too bad, and now it's starting to grind again, all right? So we're right at that edge. Do you see how easily we can go from a nice healthy 7.83 to a grinding event, all right? The impacts are hitting us, being absorbed, and having, scraping events sooner and sooner, all right? That boundary area between the core and the shell is very, very narrow. All right, and every time that core heats up and swells and the shell swells, that magma swells, and we get earthquakes and volcanoes from down below coming up from the underside of the crust. Anyways, we're starting to go into another little scraping. That's how close. Any little added pressure, any little burst in the solar wind now, a mouse fart could cause us to start, grinding again. That's how close to the boundary those two, or close to the edge, those two boundary areas are. Let's come on over to the earthquakes now. And we did have a good healthy quake today. Let's get this just a little bit better for you guys. And let's go right over to the nice big one today. We had a 6.2 here. Come on. Pop it up. USBS. There we go. There you go. There's your 6.2 at a depth of 93. It's on land, and usually the quakes in this region are semi-deep, not super deep, but they're not surface quakes. They're down a little ways. So here's your 6.2 energy being released right there. All right. Now, there wasn't any like deep earthquake activity to, channel around to cause this. This is pent up energy in this region that finally, shifting around and finally got released. Okay. So you see our region, we usually start with deep quakes entering this system, surface energy, nothing. Okay. Over here, we have a lone quake, a 4.7 down at 54. Up here's a 4.5 down at 40. Up here at Japan, a 4.4 down at 40. So this mid-range 4 energy, kind of residual energy still, popping off in this region. 4.0 up here down at a depth of 435. This is that region that has the semi-deep quakes up here. So we've had a semi-deep quake up here. That's good. This is all this energy being released along these little points right now, and mid-range 4 to mid-range 4 energy, which is perfect. I mean, actually, you could go a little bit higher and relieve more, but this doesn't do as much damage. 4.6 here at this region again, this new weak spot here in China, okay, right off this fulcrum point. After this really dense, mountainous, really thick crust right here, okay? So it's really thick and dense, and you see this pressure push up to here, and it's, like a shovel. So much is built up in front of it, it can't move forward anymore. So when it does push, the whole mass moves, and it breaks up here, like when you're pushing snow, and it builds up on the blade. Finally, you see it give way down here at the very point where this buildup has, finally come to your regular surface. So anyways, right there is your new little weak spot there at China. Our fulcrum quake, where we usually have two, maybe two, mid-range 4 to 5s drop off there. We have a lone 2.6. Okay. That's a mouse fart for that fulcrum right there. It looks compared to the rest of them, it looks just kind of out of place. Real quiet over here, so expect some volcanic activity in this region then. If it's not going to earthquake, you're going to see pressure released in volcanoes. Thankfully, Iceland is relieving a lot of the pressure. I mean, that huge fissure with those, really tall curtains, that's a lot of pressure being relieved. So it's kind of like the, dare I say, pimple or whatever, but the pimple popped, and now it's relieving all pressure, in the region, and, making our quakes kind of calm down. Right below that quake, the bigger one, we had a 4.5 down at 112 and a 4.4 down at 240. Okay, so there was some energy from previous days that's either pushed across and not really, triggered anything and just built up and built up. Remember I told you there was still the potential for a big quake out there. This isn't it. This is a moderate quake, a 6.2. All right. So watch as this new energy comes in. It'll start to build a little bit more. 5.6 down here at a depth of 116. 4.8 at 20, and another 4.8 down at 39. So a good fair amount of energy being released right here. So energy came probably pushing across, hit this fulcrum point, release 6.2. You add up all this energy right here, this is a 5.6 with a couple of 4.8. All right, there's your 6.2 energy being released in, spread over 3 quakes right here at this fulcrum point, right there at that fulcrum point. We're lucky it didn't hit right here with that much energy. 4.7 here on the Cocos plate, which is okay. Let's go take a peek at America, shall we? So let's come right up to here. This is New Mexico with the 3.5 down at 11. Our same spot. Oh, this is at White Sands, New Mexico with the 2.7. Ooh, a little flurry down here. Maybe some nuclear testing. 2.8 at Mentone, Texas. 2.9 at Toya, Texas. 2.7 White City, New Mexico. And another 2.9. So a little bit of energy being released here at these weak spots here in the crust. We come on over to this little weak spot here. We have in Texas at 2.5, and there's something else hiding under there. See that? They try to hide this stuff, man. There's the bigger quake underneath it, a 3.4 in Texas. So 3.4 and a 2.5 here in Eckerly, Texas. A little bit of shaking going on down there. See, they got perforated crust there, so it finds the weakest spot and triggers where it can. Here up in Oklahoma, 2.6. I bet it's yep. It's in the crust there. Okay, so America, the world pretty quiet. We had a good release of energy right here. All three of these and all three of these right here. Okay, you can see that this whole region right here is quiet. We have our fulcrum point energy spot right there. Okay, so pretty quiet. That's good. That's good news. But here, even with this X flare, even this little small, can I get back to this one? This small little energy that hit us just from the flare, all right, was short-lived. It wasn't super intense, but that is going to affect us first. There's going to be a small little hiccup down below from this, and then 3 days later, when this energy hits the planet, absorbs, transposes through the mantle back up to the surface, we'll see in earthquakes then and volcanic activity then. So you might see a little burst here in the next few hours from earthquakes or volcanoes just because of this impact right here. But then we'll really have the bigger impacts 3 days later when whatever little residual energy sideswipes us here and causes our weather, earthquakes, volcanoes, all that. So looks like we have a when we get more data as to what direction and if it's really going to hit us straight on, we'll have a better detail as to how much energy to expect on this hit. Okay, coming over to the volcano report here tonight. This is already going into the 21st with Santa Guido, Fuego, Reventador, Sangay, Sabancaya, Ebico. All right. Ebico, Santa Guido to 14,000 feet. Okay. Fuego to 15,000 feet. Sangay to 21,000 feet. The super high ones have come down a little bit, just a little bit. Here's Reventador at 15,000. They're still pretty high. 15,000 feet is a pretty good, decent blast, all right? Same with 21,000 feet. It's not 26 or 24. It's back to 21. This one's backed off down a little bit, too. Sabancaya. All right, now let's get into the 20th here. That was today's. If it'll open that up for me, please. Come on, Lord, please. Open it up for us. And sometimes, if we get lucky, it'll show us right at the top of the page here real quick for a brief moment. Please let it work. Yeah, bear with us for a second. This site has a lot of ads, and it takes a second to open here. And I had it open, but it was here we go. So, volcanic activity for the 20th. Reykjanes. The decreasing activity of the eruption site continues as we reported in the last update. Small fire fountains had continued from 3 eruptive vents. Meanwhile, the situation has changed and the activity has been limited to 2 fissure vents. The main protagonist of the eruption episode has become near constant spattering rather than fountaining itself. Okay? So this little burst of energy that came in, it said there were two cones or whatever going. You might see 3. You might see a quick little, it says a spattering, go to a fountain or something for a brief little while when we, have little residual effects from the first inbound thing. Gas is still bursting. So this is still puttering along, all right? And it's going to be our new weak spot for pressure for a while. That's a tear in the Earth's surface. It's a fissure that's spewing lava. All right, let's move on to our next one. Ibu, all right. Explosive activity continues to 8,000 feet. Semeru, explosive activity continues to 15,000 feet. All right. Dukono, 11,000 feet. Kanaga. This is a new one. Added to the list. Volcano Observatory have reported that a small explosion was detected overnight on the 18th. So, Kanaga, there we go. Kanaga in the Aleutian Islands, add that to the active list. Okay, elevated seismic activity is ongoing. Aviated color code has been updated to yellow. Volcanic alert level raised to advisory. So, Kanga coming back to Kanaga. All right, back to business. Popo to 19,000 feet. Santiaguido erupting to 15,000. Fuego 15,000. Sangay 21,000. Reventador 15,000. I want you to, when I'm rambling off these numbers, 15,000, 21,000, 15,000, think of the energy it takes for these blasts to reach that height. And it wasn't just one, it's all of these. A 19 plus a 15, add all that energy up. Add 19,000 to 15,000 to 15,000 to 21,000. You start getting a really big number. That's a lot of energy. All right. Currently erupting, here's our list. Picono, Biziamani, Ebico, Arubis, Urda Ale. Oh, Etna. We need to talk about Etna. There's a lot of pressure underneath Italy. That's a huge, huge old dormant caldera. Watch out for Etna. If they don't have the earthquake activity, I would expect to see Etna increased activity as well as Stromboli over there. Okay. Fuego still on the list. Ibu. Iwo Jima still building islands, okay, still erupting and building islands. Krakatau, the son of Krakatoa, is still on the list. Luatolo, the new Marapi in Sumatra, still on the list. This new Masaya is on the list. Merapi is still there. This Michael in the South Sandwich Islands, where we saw those 3 earthquakes down at the tip of South America. That's the volcano going off in that region. Nevada del Ruiz still going off. Niragongo still going off. Popo, Reventador, Reykjanes, of course. Sabancaya, Sakurajima, Sangay, Santiaguido, Semeru, Shivalu, Stromboli, Yasur, and that's it. All right. Then over on this list, these are the ones that have potential to go active and be on, on the active list here when this new energy arrives. Hopefully not backed up with too much. All right, we'll see what happens in the coming hours, days, or whatever. But any of these could possibly, erupt and go online again because they're very close. All right, Great Sick and Bongana. Oh, there's Bongana right there. Take it off this list and put it over here. Aoba. Kanaga. Yeah, that's the one. Kanaga. That's the one. Take that off the list, put it over there. Karangatang Mayon. This is one that went active and jumped over to the active list not too long ago and back over here. So that's one to watch. This one here, Japan. Naya Maria Gira. Oldoino. Rayung. Conde Vieja. Shishalden. All right. Uluwan, especially Uluwan. That's the one that's produced our biggest blast this year. Came out of Uluwan. All right. So a little hidden sneaker that has produced the biggest eruption so far this year came out of this one that's on the semi-active to possibly go active. All right. And then the last one, Villarica. All right. Coming over here now to our SO2. Oh, yeah, I got that. Our pressure starting to get a little darker here. You see this dark patch right up in this region? Let me take the wind off of there. All right, so got a little darkening up in this region, you know, kind of lightening in this area. All right, lightening up. Over here, you see it starting to darken up here in China a little bit. So pressure is on the rise here. All right, you can see that this map is starting to darken up a little bit. Not going black, but it is darkening up just a tad. Oh, Iceland. Now we're looking at Iceland last night, and its plumes aren't as big as they were last night. But here we have a huge erupting volcano. Well, not huge at the moment, but when it was erupting, pretty good size. And that's the plume of SO2 coming off of a big volcano. And then look how tiny that is compared to all the other spots around the world. So we have a lot of issues in regions with dark areas. It's gonna have to vent its way somehow. All right, and this is the precursor to what's going on down beneath. The pressure's pushing this sulfuric gas out of the way. All right, come on over to the forecast. Oh, man. X is down. Twitter is not working. Breaking news. So, breaking news. Twitter is down. X is not working. Live. Just covering it during our weather report. I don't use it. It's not a big deal to me, but I know everybody else in the world can't live without it, can't drive without it, can't go walk across the street without it, so I'm sure people will start losing their minds here shortly when they can't have their fix of X or Twitter. Interesting names they give these companies. If it's Twitter, is it for twits? Now I see why they call it X. I guess it's tweeting. Then wouldn't it be called Tweeter? You know, I just have ways of thinking that are kind of logical, that are just different than most people, I guess. All right, here we go. Enough screwing around. Let's get this loop started. Boy, just look at it for a minute. That right there is not going to be a good thing. We're still waiting for this loop, all these frames to load up here so we can click away at it. Yeah, there they go. Look at what was that? Oh, no way. Okay. Now this model is constantly changing, and you know, a lot of we know some of the outside factors are the energy coming off the sun. All right, so when we see this second storm here, just let this loop play again. Come on, let it play, let it play, let it play. Come on. Oh, what? Okay, one more. Let this finish off here, and we're going to start going through this frame by frame, timestamp and everything, so we can get a fair assessment as to what to expect here, because that looked right there. That looks deeply concerning right there. Oh, dear. That's clear at the end, though. That's clear at the end of the 16-day forecast, so that is so subject to change. And could change in a good way or in a bad way, too. Okay, let me take a breath here. Current conditions, the nighttime, December 20th. We're just going to rattle this off. You can watch these storms come into here, but I'm going to focus more on this storm that's coming up here. So this is the nighttime of the 20th. We go into the morning of the 21st, noontime, convection. You see convection, moisture starting to gather here. Nighttime of the 21st, the morning of the 22nd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 23rd, noon, convection. You see how this is swooping up and it's grabbing this. Nighttime. This moist air colliding with this cold air at nighttime. There's gonna be a band of storms right here, and they're showing right now severe weather. Let me just zoom in on this because this is a little important now. So the nearest event is right here, severe weather starting in the panhandle of Texas and the border of Oklahoma right there, starting at the night of the 23rd, okay? I'm trying to do this as gingerly as I can here without messing everything up. All right. Into the morning hours. Now, this is rare, where we see at the end of convection, it blossoms. Instead of dissipating at night, it blossoms at night into the morning. This is the morning of December 24th, cutting right through the heart of the country right here, all right? And you see how this severe weather band has stretched out now? Before, it was just a few little pockets. It's gathering strength. This computer model is showing this thing, is predicting this thing to be stronger than it was shown last night. Anyways, let's continue. This is the morning of the 24th. Now, as we get into the noontime, that's going to start getting hairy right there. If you got flights that go, anywhere in this part of the country, if you're driving, you're going to have to go through a wall of weather right there from north to south. And let's just zoom in on this frame. Now, this is the noontime. This isn't convection yet, but it's still important because look down here. We have severe weather in the red coming onshore onto Louisiana. Waterspouts coming onshore. High winds, surf, storm surge, hail, okay? Here in Texas, that's the Dallas-Fort Worth area going up through Oklahoma. We got this low with 1,005 millibars right here with snow on the backside of it right here. Let me zoom down there, all right? And there's a pocket of severe weather there, icing it up here. So this frontal boundary is stretching out right there by the noontime, all right? Now, let's go one more into convection, the end of convection, and it looks to have like ripped apart. A lot of this energy is shunted north. You see how it's kind of lost its power in the middle, but still back down here. Severe weather on the Gulf Coast with Mississippi, Panhandle of Florida, Alabama, possibly Louisiana, creeping up into Arkansas. All right. With snow and icing on the backside up there. Okay. Then let me pull back here. And we're going to go a little bit more. This is the nighttime of the 24th right here, okay? Still severe weather down here in the Gulf Coast. Lots of rain, high wind with this. Lots of snow up in Canada there. The morning of Christmas. Still the severe weather down in the Panhandle of Florida, Mississippi, Alabama region. Creeping north into Alabama a little bit. This thing is rotating and still kind of trying to gather a second wind here. That's the end of convection, Christmas Day. So sundown Christmas Day, you're going to still have a little chance down here at Tampa for severe weather. Mm. Up here in Georgia, icing up there in Minnesota on the backside. Look over here too. This event coming into British Columbia in Seattle area. Lots of water. There's going to be flash flooding, landslides, all kinds of problems with that on Christmas Day. Let's back up a little bit so you can watch this one. The very beginning here, making landfall 10 p.m. Christmas Eve. It looks like Santa coming in from the north at 10 p.m. through the morning hours of Christmas right here into the noontime, the end of convection, sundown, or the nighttime of Christmas now. We have this severe weather still just going off up there, so watch out, you guys, in that area. Still, we have this big plume of moisture drawing up from the Gulf Stream now. The Gulf Stream has warm water in it as well, and instead of these things picking up a lot of moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, after they pass Florida and go over the Gulf Stream here a little bit, they pick up intensity from this warm water real quick, and then been pitching it right at South Carolina, Tennessee area. And they're in for another round of it right there on Christmas, the night of Christmas. Then we go into the morning of the 26th. You see it's kind of skirting up the coast, this big low winding up here, still severe weather up there. Noon the 26th. Convection the 26th. This thing seems to scatter and kind of fly apart. Yep. And then at nighttime, the 26th, lots of rain still here through New York and the upper New England area. Still severe weather up here in this British Columbia Puget Sound. Then that's the morning of the 27th. Okay, East Coast here, Pennsylvania possibly. Still just gnarly intense up there. That has been severe weather for like 10 frames now, all in a row. Now it kind of drops a little more into Northern California here on the 27th. That's noontime the 27th, so making landfall along the west coast. Noon the 27th, driving into Northern California, Oregon, Washington area there by the end of convection. The nighttime of the 27th. Morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime, 30th, noon, convection, nighttime, 1st, noon, convection, nighttime, the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. This storm coming through the west coast on the 2nd here. Or that's January 1st, my bad. So let me back up here. I need to get just a tad bit more of these buttons here so I'm not trying to squeeze too hard. Let's back up to right there. That's the morning of the 31st. Going through the noontime of the 31st, nighttime, or convection, nighttime. Now, here's the 1st. This storm moving in on the 1st of January, the morning here of Northern California, going through the noontime, driving through the Sierras, up through the Pacific Northwest. This is the end of convection, the 1st. Little pop-up down here, watch out. The nighttime of the 1st. Severe weather there. The morning of the 2nd was severe weather. Chances there. All right, we're going to kind of click forward through these storms a little bit until this low that comes off here. All right, kind of originates up in this area, drops down in here, backs up a little bit. Now watch it gain all this strength here and start driving up into the Central Plains area the noontime of the 3rd. Then these millibars are really tight. This is going to be a high wind over a big, huge area. Blackouts. It's going to be knocking out power poles, trees. With this core of severe weather starting to form right there by the convection of January 3rd as we go into the nighttime hours. That is going to be a nocturnal event. If it turns out like this, that will be a nocturnal event of epic proportions right there. It's still a little far out. I will kind of let you look at this map to kind of get an indication of what could possibly happen in this region on the 3rd, okay? So if you're just, getting back from your Christmas holiday vacation and you flew into town and you're still jet lagged, hungover from New Year's, whatever, watch out the next day, a couple days later on the 3rd, this thing rolling through looks like a massive freight train, all right? So, let me timestamp real quick and then go back. So that was the nighttime of the 3rd. Nighttime of the 3rd. Here's the morning of the 4th. All of Louisiana, Arkansas, going up into Missouri, Illinois, Indiana. Boom. Massive snow on the backside here, even up into Canada, pulling moisture right up out of the Gulf. This thing is gnarly. So, that would be the morning, I said. I lost track again. I gotta slow down here. Yes, the morning of the 4th. The noontime of the 4th. Let's just look at it. There you go. So noontime the 4th. Severe weather way up here in the Great Lakes region. Real severe weather back down here in Mississippi, up into Tennessee. So this whole thing is just intensifying. And let's pray to God we don't have an event that coincides off the sun, adding energy to this event. That's the noontime of the 4th, going into convection. This is the end of convection for that part of for that region of the country when the cloud tops should be the highest. Still at nighttime, going into the morning of the 5th. Look at that there. Noontime the 5th, again striking the whole East Coast that just got hammered, just got back to back. And here we go again with another one. All right, and that's closing frames, but let me rehash these last few here. So from this juncture right here, this is noontime the 4th, convection. So here, when the sun's going, storm chasers are chasing this stuff. As the sun's going down, we got two different areas up here, way up here now, and then looks like the whole state of Alabama. This, all subject to change, but what a powerful storm. And with this split function, having severe weather up here as well as down here, it could be a handful. It will be a handful. Let's kind of track this thing as it continues to do this. This will be the nighttime of the 4th. This will be dangerous right here because everybody will be sleeping. On the 4th of January, don't get caught sleeping in Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia. The northern Georgia, Tennessee, Florida area here. If this unfolds like this, especially up in this area too, there's some up there. So this is there's going to be a powerful storm if it continues to track like they're showing here. Sorry I have to do all the zooming and stuff, but I want you guys to get a good eyeful and get the best shot we can and take a minute to look at it because you have relatives in this region. Some of you have friends there, relatives, family, whatever, business ventures, partners, whatever. You need to warn them. This is going to be another gnarly event. Let's take a close look at this frame. First, let's timestamp this. This will be the morning of the 5th. So severe weather. They're going to wake up in the morning after having severe weather overnight, wake up to this nightmare. And look where it's just going. It's going right up through from Florida right up through Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, right up into the Ohio River Valley, reaching up to Pennsylvania here. All right, just that one big streak right there. These little pop-ups that come out in front here, these are the dangerous ones. So this will be one heck of an event hitting the East Coast, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., that whole area is going to have another little wake-up call. And that was the closing frame. Oh, no, there's the closing frame right there at the end of convection, January 5th. And we will zoom in one more time, one last time on this last frame. Okay. All right, now let's pray that this thing weakens, changes. Oh, hi, Surfer Girl. You got my live. All right. Well, we just kind of finished the solar report, and you're in time for the spiritual report, at least. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back into motion here, if I can, and zoom in on it, and just kind of leave that sitting right there for a minute so you guys can take a peek and see it in motion. You know, it helps to see it when it's in motion here. It gives you a better idea of what to expect here. So, greetings, Surfer Girl. Thanks for coming. Everybody here in the chat, I hope you caught all that. That's a lot going on right there. Oh, wow. We're going to have to come up with new terminology for this weather. You know, that thing's just... look how it morphs and changes. And that one did, and then this next one. Just odd weather patterns. All right, so let me start getting rid of some of this. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's come on over here. I want to take a peek at see if we could capture our M flare on our satellite here, update it, and see if we got any new frames added here. No, not really showing it. It's at the very end coming off the side right here. It'll be right there. Just a little event coming off right here. There's one more frame of it, and that's the last frame right there. So your little CME coming, coming off the side here, underway. Right here where this spire is, right where that we were talking about earlier. So whatever object that, this spire is pointing to is starting to emerge here. Or emerged, it's still behind the occulter. All right, it passed the sun, kicked off that M flare, and is starting to travel out. It'll be, next couple hours, it'll be out in front of the, out from behind the occulter here. So I was hoping we would have a couple more frames. Real quick, let's come back over to this instrument and track our latest CME. Yeah, it's still declining here, going back down to regular levels here. Let me just slide over. We're currently at C 2.6 over here, so the event's over. It was a short little impact, but it did hit Earth. All right, and there was our impact zone. It was yellow, green, yellow with a red dot right in the middle here a little while ago when we apexed out at M 4.2 or something like 4.1, I think it was, and it came from this little. Kind of missing now. There's our little M flare was over here, I believe. So, anyways, that was a little recap for the people that came in late there of our new inbound energy that will be affecting the middle of the Earth, which will be, rising up to the surface and causing earthquakes and volcanoes. Let's go pick out a site and open up a page here for my channel and pick up where we left off. I forgot to name this the 10th day of Christmas, so we will have to go back and change the title. All right, see, quick little shot right there. You can see the little red dot in the middle when it was at its strongest right there. Okay, and then videos. Should we click on live? Watch my live stream? That would be weird. Where are we going? Oh yeah, we're going down to this one finally. All right. Whoops, no. This one. All right, this is the one we used a lot of times for our images, right, to read to. And this will be the 10th dot in the series. Now remember, each one of these dots is a miracle, a hint, a clue, a revelation. Okay, and this is all stuff that happened to me in chronological order. So you guys can be witness along with me of what happened here. And thankfully, through all the insanity, I was able to keep a level head and record all this stuff and document it so I could share it with my friends. Alright, so this is that image with Jesus tearing open his shirt and exposing his heart. We're going to start this video right here and let that play for a minute. And this will be the 10th dot. And we only got a couple more to go until you get your Christmas gift. Alright, let's try playing this real quick and see if we can watch this video quickly here. Oh, volume over here. Welcome back. So snapping some pictures of the clouds yesterday, and I noticed something forming in the clouds. What looked like a face over here, and I'm gonna start on this face because it's a face. And if you look back behind it here, let's zoom in just a little bit, you'll notice that back behind here, this face is being projected by Jesus's heart right here. You can see it radiating out. Here's Jesus's face. He's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. His heart's radiating out this image in the sky. See this face here? And there's a crown right here. Also in the etherical, in black, there's another crown right here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this picture. Isn't this amazing? And this face, I recognize this face. I know who this is. I know who this face is. I see him every morning in the mirror. That's not all. I got another. So now it starts to get a little disturbing because, you know, seeing these faces and UFOs, it's all one thing, but then when you see your face being projected in the clouds and that it's being projected by Jesus' heart, this is where I started maybe not taking so many pictures anymore, because it started to get a little disturbing for a minute here. But we're not over. There's more. So let's continue on here. And a few moments later, in this image, I took a picture of the same cloud, but this is at a different angle. I rotated it 90 degrees. And I want you to look right up in here. You can see that there's a face, two eyes, smile, here's the head. And the arms are outstretched, and he's holding a cell phone taking pictures of the sky. This is an image of me taking the pictures of the clouds. So the clouds are now mimicking me taking pictures of them. Okay. So now the clouds are mimicking me, like I just said, taking pictures of them. What maybe some of you know, maybe not everybody, is I have a shattered shoulder. All right, it's in multiple pieces. They can't put it back together. It's done. It's shattered. I'm stuck with it. So it hurts to lift my arms up over my head, right? So to hold the cell phone out at a 45-degree angle, up pointing up at the clouds, is quite painful. And the blood runs out of your arms, your heart starts racing, and it begins to become this little event of agony. And it's when I'm in this pain, in this agony of holding my arms up, that these clouds start to come together and gel and form this. And they're showing, here I am grimacing in pain, holding the phone up, and now the clouds are mimicking me taking pictures of them. How would you feel if you saw this in the clouds, saw your own face, recognized your own face in the clouds, and was like, what is going on now? So then, well, let's go back here. So I'm just going to kind of leave it right there. It's about the best part. You can see it out of this video. I zoomed in too tight. Back in these days, I didn't have a tripod, so I was wobbly and trying to point out stuff. So, but right there, it's kind of captured if you tilt your head to the right. Like I said in the video, here's the camera, the cell phone outstretched. Here's my arm coming back. Here's my head. I'm looking up at the sky taking pictures, and they're showing me in the clouds what I look like to when they look down at me. This is what I look like to them, holding the camera up, taking pictures with this, with my eyes popping out of my head, going, I don't believe what I'm capturing here. All right, so time to look up into the clouds. You know, there's wars and rumors of wars. There's pestilences, and I mean, we had number 19 there, right? So famines, pestilences, all the signs are there. And when he said, you see all these signs, look up. So, as a UFO researcher who's constantly, snapping shots of UFOs or whatever, I'm always looking up and always taking pictures. And guess what I captured? All right, so this is the activity that follows me everywhere I go. All right, not only do I have the UFOs and faces in the clouds and ascended masters and advanced races from the past, all following me, watching me, studying me, my every move. I have no privacy. Every entity in the world is like looking at my private life. It's so weird. And then some scenes in the sky are of my private life being displayed in the clouds, and I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm showing that on YouTube. So a lot of these I can't show. A lot of this is I kind of stopped taking so many pictures because I jammed up the computer. It's getting weird at this time, and we're getting close to the end here, so this would be the 10th dot. All right, so I got scenes in the sky, in the clouds, with Jesus in them, in the clouds, opening up his shirt, exposing his heart, projecting my face wearing a crown. And then minutes later, mimicking me taking pictures of this very event. Okay, so real miracles being captured. They're really happening. And I was just a normal guy going about my life. I went through a lot of tough stuff in my life, and I made it through this gauntlet and came to like this new point in life with this beautiful happy ending and a finish line. and everything turned upside down, and my life became totally different. It's so absolutely wild, isn't it? Yeah. Surfer girl, we got a lot to get you caught up on. Alright, anyways, hopefully you can still see this image of Jesus right here, wearing sunglasses. I don't ask me why. That's what's there. Alright, maybe it's so bright up there in the clouds you need some sunglasses or something. I know my eyes are sensitive. I wear sunglasses every time I go outside. Because bright my eyes. I got sensitive eyes. But it's good. I got spiritual eyes, I can see. Alright, it's pointing right at his heart right there, okay? So there's your image that I'm going to read to tonight. Your 10th dot. And I had this laid out a certain way too for tonight. Okay, that was one of them. Hang on, just bear with me. I had them all set up here. Alright, well, we're just going to start going through them. I had a certain layout, but... Alright, let's just start here. Okay, so do not be surprised by the fiery attacks on your mind. When you struggle to find me and to live in my peace, don't let discouragement set in. You are engaged in massive warfare, spiritually speaking. The evil one abhors your closeness to me, and his demonic underlings are determined to destroy our intimacy. When you find yourself in the thick of battle, call upon my name. Just call out, Jesus, help me. At that instant, the battle becomes mine, and your role is to simply trust me as I fight for you. My name, properly used, has unlimited power to bless and protect. At the end of time, every knee will bow in heaven, on earth, and under the earth when my name is proclaimed. People who have used Jesus as a shoddy swear word will fall down in terror on that awesome day. But all those who have drawn near to me through trustingly uttering my name will be filled with inaccessible and glorious joy. Inexpressible and glorious joy. Inexpressible and glorious joy. This is great hope, and as you await my return. My thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways and thoughts higher than yours. Remember who I am when you spend time with me. Marvel at the wonder of being able to communicate with the King of the universe anytime, any place. Never take this amazing privilege for granted. Though I am vastly higher and greater than you, I am training you to think my thoughts. As you spend time in my presence, my thoughts gradually form in your mind. My spirit is the director of this process. Sometimes he brings Bible verses to mind. Sometimes he enables you to hear me speak directly to you. These communications strengthen you and prepare you for whatever is before you on your life path. Take time to listen to my voice. Through your sacrifice of precious time, I bless you far more than you dare to ask. There's the beginning. That's the one I want to start with now. All right, so back up and put this one at the beginning. Even though you don't see me, you believe in me. I am far more real, complete, unchanging, unlimited than the things you can see. When you believe in me, you are trusting in rock-solid reality. I am the indestructible rock on which you can keep standing, no matter what your circumstances may be. And because you belong to me, I am devoted to you. I encourage you to take refuge in me. Believing in me has innumerable benefits. I need something to drink here real quick. Mm, there we go. Sorry, my medication kind of mixes with me. All right. Believing in me has innumerable benefits. The most precious one is the salvation of your soul forever and ever. Your belief in me also enhances your present life immensely, making it possible for you to know who you are and whose you are. As you stay in communication with me, I help you find your way through this fallen world with hope in your heart. All of this enlarges your capacity for joy. The more you seek me and the more fully you know me, the more I can fill you with my inexpressible and glorious joy. I want you to trust me enough to relax and enjoy my presence. I did not design you to live in a state of hypervigilance, feeling and acting as if you are constantly in the midst of an emergency. Your body is wonderfully crafted to gear up when necessary and then to gear down when the crisis is over. But because you live in such a broken world, you find it difficult to let down your guard and relax. I want you to remember that I am with you all the time and that I am totally worthy of your confidence. Pour out your heart to me, committing all the things that are troubling you into my sovereign care. The more you lean on me, the more fully you can enjoy my presence. As you relax in my healing light, I shine peace into your mind and heart. Your awareness of my presence with you grows stronger, and my unfailing love soaks into your inner being. So trust me, beloved, with all your heart and mind. Okay, was that it for tonight, Lord? I have another one. We had a fifth one you wanted me to do. Oh, yeah, here we go. So stay ever so close to me, and you will not deviate from the path I have prepared for you. This is the most efficient way to stay on track. It is also the most enjoyable way. Men tend to multiply duties in their observance of religion. This practice enables them to give me money, time, and work without yielding up to me what I desire the most, their hearts. Rules can be observed mechanically. Once they become habitual, they can be followed with minimal effort and almost no thought. These habit-forming rules provide a false sense of security, lulling the soul into a comatose condition. Can you see that comatose condition happening around you in society? What I search for in my children is an awakened soul that thrills to the joy of my presence. I created mankind to glorify me and to enjoy me forever. I provide the joy. Your part is to glorify me by living close to me. So just get close. Not too tough. You got a best friend sitting by your side all the time. He knows you better than you know yourself. He knew you before you were born. He's the one that put you here. Okay? It's your father right there. Okay? And he loves you. All right. I think that was it. Do we have notes? No? I think that was it for the show. We'll keep an eye on that. That impact is kind of withering away, so I'm not going to click back to it. We'll just kind of close out with this. But kind of keep an eye on that, and any kind of residual effects, slight earthquake, pick up, a slight volcanic uptick, but nothing too bad. You saw that was a brief little impact from the flare. We'll find out about the CME in the next day or so, and we'll report on that as soon as that comes out as well. Okay, so that's it for tonight, I think. Yep, we're done. I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. Get ready for Christmas, y'all. I got a gift for you. Yep, that's it. Okay, until my next show, I will be back. I am back, can't you tell?